Hi guys, we're back to SUI again, and finally this week we opened with a green candle, but there's still over 5 days to go, so let's take a quick look and see after 6 weeks of red and what's the chart telling us. So here, the weekly chart, if you're new to this and new to Wyckoff, the blue text are the stages of distribution cycle, including this purple one. And then the orange ones are the accumulation cycle. So quickly, we are likely after a pretty high last point of supply stage. That's even higher than the buying climax we see over here. There were upthrust of the distribution, all that. And then over here, obviously there are a couple of signs of weakness that tested all the way down this white line. The white line is the long-term playground zone where a large part of time SUI has been traded within that range. Currently, we're way above it, over the past roughly half a year or so. And then currently we've got this little bounce over here. This chart you probably won't be able to take reference from SUI's earlier distribution cycle because it's pretty young. However, there can be like more LPSYs before it eventually comes back down to an accumulation cycle. And because SUI is new, like rather young compared to the other coins, there is a chance if SUI successfully continue to expand its ecosystem and partnerships, it may have a higher base, meaning the accumulation cycle won't happen at as low as this one. It may happen somewhere higher because the demand for it is higher, so that's why people's expectation of it, of its value, let's put it this way, goes higher. So initially the demand for it, the use case for it, the partnerships with SUI is limited, but then like over 2-3 years it has expanded, the ecosystem has expanded, there are more solid partnerships. Then in people's perception, okay, SUI at least worth a little bit more. That's how it pushes the bottom. Let's put it this way. This was the bottom. It pushes the bottom higher. So that's something we are trying to observe for SUI compared to some other older altcoins. So here, like I already mentioned, it will swing. So what's the level that it swing to, right? Bottom, like resistance lines, you see this yellow, right? At around $2.30 roughly. These 2 weeks already showed us that's the level. I've drawn this line basically by referencing these 2 points, but then like the past 2 weeks have already proven this is a level, indeed an invisible level over there, or visible depending on your experience. Some people are very experienced, when they look at it they already know it is it. That's the level. So the next level obviously is this one. You see over here it has been tested and like successfully defended. That's around $1.80 roughly. And then in terms of resistance level, oh sorry, I haven't changed the view. So the yellow line that I was talking is this, the white line over here, $2.35 roughly and $1.85 roughly. So back to the resistance level, the purple line over here at around $3.40. You see this has been tested just 3-4 weeks ago, and then if the price does go above this or closes above this line, similar to here, then the next resistance level will be around $3.80. That's the Wyckoff view as well as support and resistance levels. How about daily trend then? Interestingly, we're seeing this. It seems to be breakout, but not really yet, because it's a red candle. It may come back to the box anytime. One thing we can adjust, usually when you draw these kind of like trending or like flags for candlesticks patterns, if you find that some of the earlier reference points aren't, like, basically they fluctuate not as much as of now when the time goes on, one thing I would do is make it a little bit wider, because it's not that we are creating something out of the blue without any ground. If we look at this wick over here, let me move this because something is blocking your view. If we look at this wick over here, that was actually one of the price points that can be our reference. So there are many reference points now. If we take the wicks into account, right? We have some touching the bottom edge and then top, and then come back down to the bottom, go halfway and then come back down and touch this top again, and then consecutive decline for 11 days. And then now we are the price is trying to test the top again, right? So that's how some people trade this playground zone methodology, right? If the price bounce from this bottom edge, they go in, they set their stop loss, and then eventually they profit somewhere. And then when the price comes down from the top edge, then probably not this one, this was the first one, maybe this one, then they probably put set a put order or whatever tools or leverage they use. Then eventually this one, very tasty for whoever that successfully put in a trade over there, from $3.40 all the way to $2.30. That's roughly a 30% without leverage. So back to this point, we are still within the trend basically. So again, much like the other altcoins, the price is soon getting cornered, and it will happen in probably less than 2 weeks, or roughly 2 weeks time. Because don't expect it to come to this very tip before it happens. It should happen somewhere before it. So scenario 1, break outside of this blue box and test this pink resistance line at around $3.25. Scenario 2, break below this yellow support line at around $2.35 we talked about, and continue with this downward trend and test this pink and white support line, which is around the same level at around $1.85, that kind of range. So both can happen. It all depends on what news are coming out. So let's shrink the chart again and see whether there's anything else. I think that's pretty much it for SUI. Thanks for joining me this week, today, and tomorrow we'll have